It looks like it's going live.
We lit.
I'm B Minor.
I'm the X Factor.
And we're back. The boys are back. Season 2, episode 1. We're here with Hakeem, the Dream, ex-NFL football player, current entrepreneur, businessman, entrepreneur in the real estate, cannabis area, doing all sorts of big stuff. You may recognize him if you have TikTok, because this man right here, this man right over here has like 250 some thousand. Are they? What do they call them on TikTok? Followers?
Yeah.
Followers? I get those confused between subscribers, likers.
Yeah.
But
they all serve the same purpose.
It all means the same thing pretty much, right?
100%. Appreciate you guys for having me on the show. I'm super, super excited.
Well, we're thrilled to be back, man. I know I've been talking to the X Factor about, hey, when are we getting back? When are we getting back? And he's in school, basketball, working like 3 jobs. You got like all sorts of stuff going on, but I'm glad we could hop back on and catch up a little bit, man.
I'm so happy about it too, because for me, the podcast, and this is always what I tell everybody, B Minor and the X Factor is like my therapy. It's like my getaway. You know what I mean? So you'll be working all day, and then you get this time to, because the podcast is not, you can call it a job, you can call it whatever you want to call it. For me, it's you get together with the bros and you're just talking to everybody. You know what I mean? It's just an open conversation. No different than we're all sitting here watching March Madness together or something and talking, So I love it, and I'm so happy we could be back, and especially with a great guest like you, man. Hakeem the Dream is gonna be a great episode.
I'm super stoked to be on the show. That's such a cool. That's so real about podcasts. That getaway factor.
It's awesome. And so a little bit about our backstory. I was a walk-on in college. The X Factor is a current walk-on. Actually, probably wrapped up now. So I don't know, current, former.
How crazy it is to say now. All of season 1, you were saying I'm a former walk-on and X Factor is a current walk-on, but now we're both former walk-ons.
It's wild, man. We're growing up. We're getting older.
We're growing up,
I love
man.
it.
We're leveling up too.
New StreamYard. So if you're seeing us or hearing us or seeing us for the first time, it's probably because of Facebook or one of those apps. I see Ref Bill's in the house, Fernando's watching, Justin. So people are tuning in on the Facebook on our new StreamYard where this streams to different platforms. Really exciting. We got Will the Thrill listening in. Will, give us a little peace sign, thumbs up, something. Say what's up. There's Will.
Will the Thrill. Fist bump. Hey, I got you back. I got you back.
Fist bump.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
the fist bump. There we go. And Zoe, what's up? Always exciting to have you tuning in. Looking good, feeling good. You should have been in Hollywood, girl. Let's
Thank
go.
you.
You look like a Hollywood star. I know one thing, you got good taste in guys.
Thank you. I agree with that statement.
So let's go. David, thanks. This is pretty cool that we can see posts. Do you guys see those posts also?
No, I don't.
Do you see anything that shows comments, or is it just the host that can see the comments?
Just you. You're going to have to relay the messages.
Okay.
No,
So
if you take it out of full screen, I just realized you take it out of full screen, you can see the comments. So Will Dickerson said, "What's up, Fernando? What up, Harley?"
Okay, yeah. Now Hakeem's got to figure it out.
What's up, everybody?
Can you figure it out, X?
Yeah, just take it out.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay.
Party
David,
people in the
what's
house.
up? So if you guys are watching, thank you for checking us out. We're getting this platform all figured out because we're back. We're back, and like you said, and you guys said it, but this is kind of a release, especially during the pandemic. That's how this show started, was just, I wouldn't say boredom, but the lack of social interactions was difficult. So I am so glad that we're back, and we have this new feature where we can do stuff like quote of the show. Here's the one that I came up with because it's been a while. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you guys see the scrolling of it there. Absence,
tough.
been gone. It's been gone too long, but now we're back again. Tell a friend. Here we go. Angela's watching. Thanks. Sorry we didn't go. Still trying to figure out how we could do Instagram Live and this. Probably if we set up my camera, maybe. We're getting better at this stuff. Like everybody, like always, trying to get a little better than we were yesterday. So that's my quote that I'm going to get us kicked off with. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I believe that because when you're away from something, then you really realize how real it is and how much you missed it, for sure. X, you got a quote to get us kicked off season 2, episode 1?
Yes, I do. And by the way, I like this. So before, for everybody that does not know, we used to do quotes towards the end, but now season 2, we are kicking to the beginning. I like this. We're keeping everybody on their toes.
Let's get them going.
On their toes. You never know what to expect with us. But so this is mine, and I was scrolling through a bunch of different quotes because I wanted the perfect quote, right, for season 2, episode 1. Season 2, that's awesome to say. But so mine is probably one you've heard. So if your dreams don't scare you, they are too small. Man, why do you see a ceiling above you? You know what I mean? When you look up, the only ceiling to me is heaven, is God. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I feel like you can, anything that you want to accomplish in this life, you can do it. So set your goals. For example, you want to be, I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? If you want to be an astronaut, if you want to go to space, like Elon Musk is literally trying to go to space. Jeff Bezos is literally trying to go to space. You know what I mean? Like people, there's no boundaries. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, why don't you do it? And if you can't accomplish it, at least give it your 110% effort. You know what I mean? To go do it. So set dreams. They need to scare you. And honestly, when you tell people your dreams, hopefully they say you're crazy because that means you're doing something right.
That's real.
I feel you. You got some heart on that. I saw a thumbs up. The number went up. So somebody's feeling that about if people don't say your dreams are crazy, they're not big enough. I love that. Be around people that challenge you to dream bigger. You know, that's one of the things for that tournament that I started in Vegas. People are like, you're going to start a tournament in a hotel, in a ballroom? And I was like, let's go. I was like, yes. At the resort. Like, let's not have you ever have to leave the resort. So the exclusive. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I thought of that idea. Cool. Dream big, but back your dreams with action. Right? Like, don't just, like, a lot of people talk a big game. Oh, I'm going to do this. And I had this idea. And then when it comes down to it, they don't do it. And so execution is key. I'll put that in there. Dream big, but you also got to execute. Let's go. Hakeem, do you got something you want to share with us? Some wisdom, something that helped you out? I'm going to give you a little introduction here. We got to know this. If you're watching, you can type Bill, whoever's watching. 11 catches in the NFL or 11 points in college basketball. I had 11 points in my college career. Am I right, Hakeem? You had 11 catches?
That's real.
11 catches in the NFL. So you were getting a paycheck. I wasn't. So that might bump yours up a little bit. But both of us got into double digits. Double-digit receptions, double-digit points.
100%. Yeah, I got a quote for you.
Let's hear it.
You're kind of tapping into it there at the end after X gave his quote. But it's match the audacity of your ambitions and your dreams with your work ethic. You know, people talk a whole bunch of shit, but then when you audit their week to week, their day to day, and you know what I'm saying, they're watching Netflix and stuff like that. Like, escapism is cool, but don't talk that talk that you know that you're trying to do X, Y, and Z if you're not actually putting that work in.
What? Can you say that one more time? Match the audacity
of your ambitions with your work ethic.
That's
or
tough.
Dreams or ambitions, you know, that can be replaceable, but yeah, that's what it is. You know, you're gonna talk it. You better put that work in.
How about this one? You can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic.
That's real.
That's tough too. That's really real.
That's really
real. You can end up wasting the gift of the idea.
Don't
Might as well
wait.
sell it to somebody else at that point.
You got a great voice, bro.
That guy does, right?
You got a great voice.
You talking about me?
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
I appreciate that. Hey, what do you want to hear? Do you want to hear me as a sports announcer or something? What do you want to hear me? On the radio? Where?
I'm excited to flow. You go say whatever. It's very soothing.
You should hear his. You haven't heard his jam.
You showed me it.
Oh yeah, I sent you the Mississippi Dude. That's right. I did share it with him.
I appreciate that. First of all, it's a hell of a song. Second of all, it hasn't even begun yet. I'm in the works right now. It's gonna be a weekend soon. We don't have the exact date, but one of the weekends soon, we're filming a music video, man. I'm talking about on a ranch. We're gonna have houses. Houses. There's gonna be one house. There's gonna be horses, cows. I'm talking about like we're doing it the whole 9 yards. So
let's go.
This thing's about to blow up.
I'm excited. Horses and cows. I love it.
Oh my. Horses and cows and people. Oh my.
What advice would you give, Hakeem, to somebody out there that's looking at social media as kind of a branding or that want to use their social media as a brand?
I think the first step is just getting started. Content can come in a lot of different ways. I think we just put, having a phone like in selfie mode, like on a pedestal. Like that's the only way that you can create content where, maybe you don't like video. So maybe you can communicate with pictures and quote text. Maybe you don't like pictures. Maybe you can communicate with short stories and actual copy and writing. Maybe you don't like those. Maybe you can make PDF presentations and do carousels on LinkedIn. Maybe you're on TikTok and you don't like showing your face, but now you can do everything in POV where it actually never shows your face, but you're showing the rest of the world. Maybe you never show yourself and it's a whole bunch of different, you're showing PowerPoint type presentations on TikTok, but never showing your face. And I think it's figuring out, via self-awareness of what you're good at, what you actually like to do, and then starting to put out content in that realm. And then the best, piece of advice is just, Gary Vee says it best, is just document, don't create. 400 trillion to 1, is the odds of being a human being. And that's, winning the lottery over and over again. That's getting struck by lightning over and over again. The simple fact that you're a human just inherently makes you special. So most of us are too insecure to show it. And I think that's why we overestimate or underestimate documenting over having to create, where just showing ourselves in our day-to-day grind, our day-to-day struggle. If you are, again, like you said, trying to build a brand around something of just your process, it's probably the simplest way to start creating content.
That's so important to me because, and I see it seems like on the various different social media platforms, there's different content. You know what I mean? Like, for example, it seems like people on Instagram, and this is at least my opinion, it seems like people on Instagram go to show luxurious lifestyles, and I want to post a picture of a Lamborghini and a mansion and this and that. Then you transition to TikTok. TikTok for me seems really real. Like in the beginning, I didn't really vibe and flow with TikTok too much, but now it's really like people walking you through entire videos. You know what I mean? It's like a whole story within 15 to now 60 seconds. But, it seems like the majority of TikToks are a lot shorter than that. So like the different social medias and the way that people can interact with their followers, interact with their friends, post content of them just living is awesome.
Context is everything. It's kind of what you said, is you see people showing up different in every different platform. Most people will take a picture on Instagram and then post it on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Twitter and wonder why it's not doing as well as it did on Instagram. It's figuring out the context and the post contextual, like what actually works on every platform. Because I always say, like, a lot of people show up on TikTok like they're like a narc at a college party. Like, everybody knows you're a narc. Like, we're not watching your content. We're not buying your, like that. Like that's what happens to a lot of people. And I think I don't know who used this analogy, but it's like you wouldn't hear a joke in your locker room at school and tell that same joke to your 10-year-old nephew, nor tell that same joke to your grandma, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's context. And like, when you think of it that way, that's how you got to think of the actual psychology of the end consumer on that platform. Why am I on Facebook? Why am I on TikTok? Why am I on Instagram?
Unless your grandma's really cool, then you can tell the joke, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It depends on the grandma.
Know your audience. Know your audience.
Yeah.
Context is key. Will, Zoe, do you guys have a question you want to jump in? I feel like we're not being inclusive. So let's see. Do you guys have anything you want to ask either any of us? What do you got? Will, you got anything you want to add? Any value you want to toss in here real quick? I think you can unmute maybe. I don't know how this one works quite yet, but you might have to unmute yourself. Will? Nothing?
So X Factor. So like what? So like how are you able to get the whole 9 yards for your music video, especially get access to the ranch? Is it like some fundraising that you've done?
You know what? I attribute it completely to networking. That's an excellent question, by the way, because a lot of people have asked me the same thing. When we first made the song, when we were writing the lyrics, we were, of course, putting a budget together for, okay, we're going to have to put together this music video. It's going to be amazing. And we wanted to, when we put the song out, we wanted to make it as big as we envisioned it, as big as it could possibly be, right? So we were putting that towards the end phase of the whole process, which is where we're getting to now. And so we put the song out. Somebody, a production company, essentially, somebody from the production company reached out to us, which really, really made the process a lot easier because we were going to have to decide who we're going to go through. Do we trust this person, that person? What kind of budget are you going to give me? We were blessed to, have somebody who's, has a great vision and, is also going to help us out. So that's how we're going about it. And it seems like a really, really good dude. And we're excited to get to work with him. And it's going to be an amazing video, by the way. One of the best videos, probably, at least in the country rap genre. It's going to be amazing. We're going to rival Lil Nas X for sure.
Do you know my guy Breland?
Breland sounds familiar. Breland who?
His name. That's his. He's country trap. He does. He did a remix. He has the song called "Don't Touch My Truck."
Oh my goodness! Yes, I know who that is. That's your guy.
I went to high school with him. We went to boarding school.
Dude, come on.
He was on
That's
my podcast
crazy.
the other day. I can. If you guys do the same, I can introduce you to him 150%. That's good people's right there.
Dude, you're the man. That would be sick. I would love to.
They just remixed with Sam Hunt on that.
No, bro, that is gonna be.
Yeah,
oh
they're
my
crushing
goodness.
it. But I'll definitely make that introduction. I didn't put 2 and 2 together in that sense. Make sure you follow up with me on that.
For sure. Right afterwards, I'm hit you up. That's love, man. I appreciate that.
100%.
Well, I got a question for Hakeem, by the way, before we go on with the questions, because this is right when you said 11 catches, it led me to thinking about something, and the audience is going to think this is funny. So I had 2 years ago, I had a teammate. He was also a walk-on. His name was Sullivan Menard. He actually came on the podcast before, Brent, on our first season. And we always had the discussion. So you've been in the NFL. You know how hard those hits are, right? Of course. I am 5'8", 150. Now that I'm out of college basketball, I can tell the truth about my actual weight and height. I'm 5'8", 150, right? So let's say I go out there right now in any given NFL game against any team. It could be anybody, right? I get 30 carries, all me, like in a row, 30, boom, 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 play after play after play. Of course, I'm not going to go too far, so I'm going to get breaks on defense because they're going to have to punt. How much bodily damage do you think would happen to me? First of all, would I get through the 30? And second of all, if I do get through the 30, how much bodily damage do you think I would concur throughout the game?
No shot. I don't know if you get through the 30 unless you play wide receiver.
I need the honesty. I think
if you were playing slot receiver, you could get through 30. If you got 30 catches thrown back to back to back to back to back, because you can DBs just don't hit that hard, and you can just go down kind of. I don't know if you make it through. I don't know if you make it through 30. That's like 30 run plays straight is a lot, and on top of that, knowing like so much is strategy. So if it was like they knew you were running it every play,
you're not making it. Let's break out the real juice. You're not making it.
Yeah,
just to preface, that is what I said. I agreed with you guys. I said there was no way. Sully was
unless you got an amazing line, you're sliding down every time, and you're not getting hit like those. Because you also know you're not used to getting hit, which is also like that's just a whole nother thing. You're gonna you'll probably separate your shoulder, like your AC joint, within the first 5 plays.
I said I would die.
I don't know if you die. You'd definitely be hurt. The first thing that'll go is your AC joint, probably.
Oh, that would hurt so bad.
That would be so painful.
Just because you're just not used to it. Yeah, that's probably the first thing that would go. And then after that, it's just like that really hurt. I've never been hit like that. Because like that's where it's gonna
Good to know this will never happen.
Only because the NFL is so much different, man, than everything else. Like college, we can have that conversation.
Unless the Bears want to give me a shot, I don't think this is ever going to happen. So thank God. But
That's awesome.
yeah, we always used to have that debate. So I had to ask you.
That's awesome.
Angela, maybe she's still watching. How did you guys get in touch with Hakeem? Clubhouse. Clubhouse was where I think we first connected, and then Hakeem came and talked to our guys at Pacific virtually, which was awesome. Broke down some real knowledge for our guys about creating a brand and a podcast, and a lot of great advice for our players. Added just tremendous value. Some of the stuff we're trying to do at Pacific is just get our guys more well-rounded, and to hear from somebody as knowledgeable with as much expertise as our guy has as far as social media and just being an entrepreneur and work ethic. And that's the next question I wanted to ask you. What characteristics or skills that you possess as a football player have helped you the most as an entrepreneur? I'm sure this is one you get sometimes, but what I mean, I know what I think, but what would you say would be the characteristics that you learned that made you a good football player that are still helping you now?
Outside of the cliche answer of discipline, I'd say meritocracy. Most people don't get what I mean when I say that, in the sense that shit's not fair. And if you produce results at the end of the day, that's how it's going to go. You know, you could be playing third string, fourth string, and the guy in front of you could be getting blackout drunk, showing up to the facility at 6 a.m., hitting the sauna. But on Sunday, he balls out. And you might be waking up early, first person in the facility, last one to leave, getting all the work in, staying for extra help with film and all that type of stuff. It don't matter though if you don't produce results. So it's a meritocracy at the end of the day. Can you produce? It doesn't really matter. The X's and O's and all of that leading up to it is, can you produce?
Isn't that a beautiful thing, by the way? Because I always talk about that as like a phenomenon. Like there's literally people just like you were just talking about, like in the most professional levels, and people that everybody knows. We're not going to drop any names, but people that everybody knows very, very well, who can go out, party their tails off, and then go the next day and drop 40 on you with a triple-double.
100%.
And then go do the same thing that night.
100%. And
it's amazing.
That's meritocracy. And you can't hate.
Results, right? Results matter, and it might not be right or fair, but sometimes, like I worked really hard to be the worst player on the team. Just because you work, sometimes kids have that misconception that if you work hard, you're going to get to play, and it's going to be the Rudy story, and you're going to get to catch the winning touchdown or score the winning basket. Doesn't always work that way.
Rudy messed a lot of people's heads up. Great movie though. Great movie.
I feel like the hard work. I feel like the hard work portion of it is just a barrier to entry. You know what I mean? Because everybody's working hard, bro. Like at the Division I level, like I'm sorry, like it's good that you're waking up at 6. Like there's someone else waking up at 4. You know what I'm saying? Like
self-awareness.
That work is just a barrier to entry. You got.
I was a receiver for 3 years. If I didn't move to tight end, I would have never played in the NFL. That's just
that awareness, though.
I worked, but it didn't matter.
I always said, hard work is to get a seat at the table. Doesn't mean you're going to get to eat. Does not mean you're going to get to eat just because you work hard. And maybe it's not fair, but if you produce, lots of times they're going to find a way to play you. And it's the production versus problem scale. Season 1 listeners, B minor coming back with the production. You have to produce more than the problems you create. As a 5'8", 155-pound walk-on, you're not producing a lot in the Big East. So if you're any type of problem,
done.
So that's how I know the X Factor wasn't out getting MIPs or DUIs or causing too much trouble.
Or at least I didn't get caught doing it. No, just kidding. I was a good kid. I still am a good kid.
You still are a kid. You guys are just young guys. Just a couple of young guys on here in B minor. Grandpa B.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, man. I'm 22 years old. I just turned 22 on March 10th, ever since I turned 22, I don't know why I feel old. Like, you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, you're not old, 22. I wish I was 22." But like, I feel older, man. Like, I feel like 21 is the last year that I could be like, "Oh, I'm a kid."
I think age is an ego thing.
Yes, I agree with that.
I
Actually,
think we feel like we have to act our age because, oh, I'm a grandma. I need to be a grandma. I'm a parent. I need to be like, yes, you need to parent your children up until a certain point. But I think when the ego gets involved on the age side, takes over, and it's like, shit, you feel bad for yourself in sports too. Oh, I'm younger than him. Of course he's better than me. You know what I mean? Like, it's
exactly.
I think it's a lot of ego that goes into it.
Will the Thrill, I wanted to give you a quick shout out. Will is making, what did he say when he came on, Pont?
The guy came in, right? He's always awesome, coming in saying great things. He came in and he said, man, he's getting national media attention. National media attention. Like, that's incredible, you know? That's something that everybody strives for and aspires to gain. So, man, Will the Thrill, he's the real deal. Just in case nobody knows. Well, everybody knows, but anybody that does not know, he's the real deal.
Yeah, and in April it's finally Autism Acceptance Month now. This entire month, and for people on the autism spectrum, it's important to understand for autistic people to not be treated like charity at all, because we are not a cause. We are people just like anybody else. Don't work on donating money to help autism like a cure. Work on instead of trying to mentor them and find outlets. Because if you recently saw in the news, there was one autistic individual who's trying to work on becoming working in employment in the computers. He broadcasted a letter which hit the national news of why he needs to be employed and why are his skills. It's important to keep on pushing for that and getting quotes of people of their most autistic selves, and to make them more authentic and allow them to author their own life and create their own journey with passion to do what they want to do, because it's acceptance.
Acceptance is huge, Will. Will's got that phone off the hook too.
I'm telling you, he's a big deal. Everybody wants to talk to him.
Will, we love everything you do, man, and you've been with us from the start. Will and I met. You want to tell that quick story, Will, about where do we meet, Will?
Yeah, so it was Duke basketball camp back in the summer of 2014, and Brant was actually coaching against my team and beat my team.
We ran a little 1-2-2, and Will didn't know how to handle it. We were trapping him. No, we were having an awesome time. Steve, what's up, Steve? Yeah, I know about your camps. If you don't know about Steve Garrity's camps, www.hoop.camp. They do awesome unified sports. They work with all types of athletes. So really cool organization that Steve has. And they do a lot of really good stuff. So a lot of inclusion, different athletes. So check that one out.
And speaking of inclusion, in Hays, Kansas right now, they're in the phases right now of building an accessible recreation complex park called the Arc Park, and they've raised so much money just to get it. And shout out to Brent Kaiser, the activities director out here of the Arc, which is one of the local disability service providers out here in Hays, Kansas, who you guys need to connect with, who has worked to get that for years. So it's going to be accessible to people in wheelchairs and who have mobility issues. Like, they can just go play like everybody else.
That is huge, man. I love them making a difference, and I love trying to progress the world. Doing things that are gonna progress the world, and transitioning. So, Hakeem, I had a question for you, man, because I see written back there, house hacking 101. Is that a 101 below? I see house hacking for sure. Is that 101 below it, or am I reading it wrong?
It is.
Okay, so I am a real estate guy. Brant is a real estate guy. Zoe is a real estate girl, man. We are all here. Trying to just get properties, and you know what I'm saying? We're all trying to do that, man. So give the viewers a little something, man, a little real estate gem. And by viewers, I mean us too, because I'm here to learn, man. 22
So I'm gonna
years
give you a
old.
lowdown on house hacking. What house hacking 101 is in about a month or so, I plan on destroying the entire real estate course game. I've never been a fan of the overpriced, underdelivered courses in the real estate space. I feel like they charge $500 to $1,500 for all this guru of knowledge that you're going to become rich after you go through this whatever, and it's BS for the most part, and it's an underdeliver of value. So I'm going to destroy the game and put out 5 hours of modules going deep into how I house hacked. And like, I'll go deeper with you guys, but the steps to house hacking are, intro to house hacking, finding an agent, the FHA loan and how to get pre-approved, how to underwrite and analyze a property, how to put an offer in and how to, adjust your offer. Your offer gets accepted. Now what? How to find tenants, how to find a property manager, frequently asked questions, and what can go wrong. So at the end of this course, I'm also going to now give access to everyone for like an hour Zoom Q&A, like on the back end. And this is not to sell myself here, like on your show.
Sell it, buy it.
We're going to charge $20 for it because I want
Nice.
to literally, I would charge that much for a book. And a book would take me 6 months. Like this is going to take me 5 to 6 hours plus, some back end editing and all that type of stuff. And I know my target market is 20 to 35 probably. And like, I'm not trying to bust you upside the head, $500, $1,500 when I can deliver at $20. And instead of impacting hundreds or thousands, I think I can actually impact millions at that price point. Cause I'm not just going to give you I just read a book and here's what happened. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did, plus kind of give, 101 knowledge on top of it.
That's a higher level than 101, man.
Like, does everybody know? I hope all the viewers, like, do you know how huge this is? Because what you're doing through this course is teaching people to be entrepreneurs. Like, I don't think people understand that, like, purchasing properties, house hacking, renting out property, like, you are an entrepreneur. Like, that is a business. You are growing a real estate business. More properties you add to your portfolio, the more you can do. Like, that can, if you do it to a high enough level, so, you house hack, living your own home, you know what I mean? And then you start to accumulate more properties, like, you will replace and surpass any income that you can make other than, maybe an NFL job or an NBA job. But if you grow big enough, the sky's the limit. You could even get there. So, and beyond that. So, like, you are teaching people such a valuable trade. And I hope that everybody that is listening or will be listening later on the re-recording knows that, because that is huge. Appreciate that.
But yeah,
sell it, man.
House hacking.
This guy knows it.
Appreciate that. House hacking is it's a simple way that most people don't realize that, the FHA loan, we're told that it's the way we can put 3.5% down on a single family house. And what people don't tell you is that you can also do it with a duplex, triplex, or a fourplex. And what I did was my rookie year, so instead of, I was paying $2,000 a month for my apartment, which would have been $24,000 that year going towards air. So instead I bought a $268,000 fourplex, but I only put down $13,000 and never had to pay a dime again because my tenants paid the mortgage. And I got to live for free and cash flow a little bit while doing it. But it's a pretty practical process. It took, I started the process in January, closed on my property in May. And then 4 years later, I sold it, made a pretty solid profit on it.
Yes, sir.
This guy knows, man. Didn't I tell you, Pont, that this is a guy that can help you tremendously because he knows his stuff. And we appreciate you taking, we're taking a lot of your time, and I know you haven't been feeling great, and hopefully we were able to bring some laughter to your world. And I know you brought some to ours and some knowledge. And Steve in the comments says Brand already makes 7 figures. 7 figures if you count the decimals. Throw the decimal points in there. That would get me to 5 figures, which might be a good year as an assistant basketball coach. Getting that $10,000 5-figure salary.
Love to see it.
That's awesome. Results matter. That's what I just wrote down. Because not only did you say you read you didn't read the book, you did it. And that's what sometimes you get advice from people that are like, oh, here's what you should do because I read it in another book, instead of this is what I did, and here's how it worked. But I love that idea of getting the. You said you had a fourplex and you rented out, or was it just a single house that you rented out the other rooms to?
No, it was a 4-unit apartment building. I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. But like there wasn't anything like that in Scottsdale or like Tempe. So it was like 40 minutes like from our practice facility. So I had a nice little commute. I had Section 8 tenants living below me and made it happen though.
Section 8 tenants. So let me ask you, so how difficult was it, and throughout even, past that, throughout your whole real estate career, how difficult is it to find tenants, and how much experience have you had possibly? I mean, have you had good tenant experiences overall?
It's been a process. Jake, that property was in 2017 in Phoenix. Yeah, they just sold in December for like $500,000 to someone else. Like the market's on fire. There's nowhere you can buy this right now. Tenants can be Section 8 tenants are the best though, to be honest with you. Out of all the tenants I've had, Section 8 have always been the best. There's so many different ways though. Apartments.com, Craigslist, Zillow Rent. And then finding a property manager and doing one-off deals. So like you can reach out to a property manager, they'll take the upfront month's rent plus like maybe a percentage on top of it or something of that sort, depending on if they're going to be collecting the rents too, like on the back end. It really depends on what you negotiate from that standpoint, or you just find a property manager to do it all for you. So property managers, depending on the market and how many units it is, charge anywhere from 4 to 15%. On whatever the income is. Like, the property brings in X amount, 15% of that's going to go off the top to the property manager. Like, a myth is that a property manager is someone that you're paying out of pocket, like salary, and it's not. That's something that just comes off the top of the rental income that's already coming in, if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, there's been some headaches, man. There's been some wild headaches. When I was on the Cardinals, about to go to the Lions, it was just a crazy time in my life. The mother of my child, she had a miscarriage back then, which was just rough. Like in the middle of preseason camp, and then I got cut at the end of that camp. And at the end of that camp, I went back to be in her city for like the back end of the surgery. And like the next morning, I got a call from my agent. I had to be in Detroit, like to get signed and play there. But all in that process, I had a tenant that I was doing. There's a thing called cash for keys. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. So instead of evicting a tenant, which can be an expensive process because you got to pay court fees and lawyer fees and all that type of stuff, it's more beneficial sometimes just to pay like, hey, X, let me just give you $500 if you move out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And like, because it's way worth more than that in that standpoint. So I was doing that with this lady. And within that process, she had attempted to kill herself, which is rough. And on top of that, when her daughter went into the place to like check out like the internal of the place, like she had a bunch of squatters living there, druggies living there. One of the rooms caught on fire, and it was a mess. But like I'm in Detroit trying to learn a whole new system, and I didn't do what I should have done, which is hired an outside property manager while living there. I just thought I could save money by doing it myself. Because it all happened so fast with getting cut, going to a new city. Having to deal with that from a distance was no joke.
It sounds like you literally like everything that could have possibly went wrong with that property went wrong.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was like that was just a minor hiccup, and
right.
Pretty solid. It was like we got her out of there pretty early from when I originally bought the property, but she was an inherited tenant.
I don't mean, not that you mind, but I don't mean to keep selling your course that you're going to sell, but this is why it's going to be that much better. Like, because you went through these experiences, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Give us one last plug for that, Hakeem. What, can we
no, this is
just going to come out, follow you on TikTok.
Follow me on TikTok. You'll find it there in about a month or so. We're starting to film like next week. And then, yeah, I'm excited for it because it's gonna.
TikTok is Hakeem
Valles.
Straight up, just the name.
Yep.
And they do an @ symbol. So we're gonna put that on the bottom of the screen. So if you want to see the screen name there.
So cool that we can do this on here. By the way, I love StreamYard.
StreamYard is good. It has been good. There it is right there. There's his and we can do even the ticker, all that good stuff. Well, thanks again for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. Really do. I owe you like 10 from everything you've done for me, man. Talking to the Pacific boxers, our guys still talk about that. They're like, we're 4 games in, and some of them are like, dude, I got to get going on this. And my TikTok, I just hit this milestone. So they're taking it to heart, man.
That's lit. That's good to hear.
For sure. Pont, what do you got? Any parting shots, any wisdom you want to drop here before we walk off?
Well, I just walk off. That's tough. Just wait. Just wait till the ending for our trademark. But anyways, yeah, I just want to thank Hakeem too. This is awesome of you, man. Thank you so much for shedding light. Definitely going to be following up with you, man, because you're definitely someone who I can, learn a lot from, and you seem like a great dude, and you like my voice too, so it kind of works in both of our favors. But yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Got to learn from you, by the way, on the TikTok as well. I have a funny story. This is my parting story. So I wasn't on TikTok that much until earlier in this beginning of the school year. It was probably maybe November, October, something around that time. Somebody had I made in my whole college career, I had 1 free throw, right? I made 1 free throw, and there's video of it, and everyone was like, oh, this is so cool, whatever, right? I thought it was awesome too, but everybody really, really loved it. And then somebody random, still don't know who it is to this day, made a fake TikTok of me. I had a TikTok account, but I never really went on. I maybe made one video as a joke. And it went viral. Went viral with my free throw. Got like 56,000 followers in one day. I was like, this is bogus, man. Like, this should have been me. And it's not like I can be mad at the guy. I got to be mad at me. You know what I mean? Because I didn't capitalize on the opportunity he did. So now ever since then, I've been like, man, just grinding, making videos. And I'm like at 9,700. Like, I'm still not where this guy got.
Have you made one like that yet?
Plenty. A ton. Maybe not in the right way. Maybe you can help me,
50 different variations of that video. I would make a duet of the guy who stole it, and I'd mention the fact that he stole it. Like I would.
Oh, I did that too. I went through a whole series of that and got to like 9,700. Now I'm like 9,730 or something.
You gotta also just don't stick with that too. What other content are you putting out?
A bunch. So much random stuff. I think I'm creative, so I just think of random stuff.
Put out content on the Gonzaga buzzer beater?
No. Probably
even he did. I saw Hakeem's or the buzzer beater.
You need to be in breaking news, like, because we have the opportunity on our cell phones to be Sports Center because Stephen A. Smith isn't on TikTok. So you need to be Stephen A. Smith because you can, like, in 15 minutes after that video came out, I made this.
Final four versus Gonzaga. Johnny Juzang ties it up with 3 seconds remaining. Jalen Suggs puts them in a coffin. You absolutely.
But you need to be doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? You're a subject matter expert on basketball. It's about demonstrating it.
That's really good content too, by the way. It's how you made that quickly. You made it like 15 minutes after the shot. That's nice.
15 minutes. All you gotta do is go to Twitter, screen record it, crop it. Like right on your photos.
Mm-hmm.
Go to InShot, which is an app, and on InShot you're gonna drag that video so it's above your head versus behind you. Like you see, like the green screens where people have to like move out of the way.
Yeah.
Hit me up offline. I'll walk you through InShot. But InShot, you put it above your head, and then you turn off the volume there. So when you come back to TikTok, you've got a video going above. Like when you do green screen video on TikTok, the picture or the video you put behind you is that video that has 3/4 of the screen is black, the other 1/4 is the video, and now you're talking above this silent video of the play happening. And now anything that you want, especially because NBA Twitter is so breaking news, every time something happens, that video that they just put on NBA Twitter, you get to add your context and commentary on TikTok. Because one of the most recent statistics on TikTok is 80% of the people who watch your videos don't follow you.
That's so smart.
If you can post 100 times a day, post 100 times a day. It's like, that's how, like, do you remember how important driving was when you were 16 and how important learning how to drive was?
Mm-hmm.
How much money has driving brought you in your life?
A lot.
How?
By driving to jobs.
That's fair. That's fair. I meant just actually driving, the act of knowing, because you know how to drive. You could have still had that job if you didn't know how to drive.
Well, the act, probably nothing.
Treat this as important with what you do and who you are. it's like TikTok can be a life changer for people. Like if from a content standpoint, because of the opportunity right now versus next year, because 1 million followers and no matter what you do can be monetized off of a career type of earnings, if that makes sense. And like 1 million followers on TikTok is practical for anyone versus any other platform. It's kind of a pipe dream, depending on if you have like a breaking moment or something like that. TikTok, unlike any other platform, because you can put out quantity of content, and quantity matters because quality is subjective at the end of the day. That's how you can win. And because if you post 100 times a day on Instagram, your followers are going to look at you like you're crazy and you're going to lose followers. But if you post 100 times a day on TikTok, you're going to gain more followers than if you posted 50 times a day, than if you posted 25 times a day, than if you posted 10 times, than if you posted 5, than if you posted 1. If that makes sense.
That definitely does. And that's so powerful too. I just downloaded an app, by the way. InShot. I just downloaded that. So I'm going to jump offline and walk through it.
Yeah, I got you. 100%. It's pretty simple. Once you learn the back ends of InShot, it makes your life so much easier. But it's I'm telling you, bro, anything you want to break down, any play, the top play, like you get to be ESPN, whatever you want, underrated, overrated, hot, not, top 10, not top 10, whatever you want.
Banana, da-na-na. That's what I'm going to be doing on my TikTok from here on out.
And Zoe, do it for your financial stuff and all that. TikTok.
What do you do?
80%. 80%. You're educating people.
Right now, I educate people on mortgages because I work in the mortgage industry. And so I'm trying to be certified as a loan officer this summer. So I'm kind of documenting my journey along with it and sharing my experiences of what I learned for other people that are trying to do the same.
Yeah, you should. Are you on Bigger Pockets?
What's that?
Yeah, definitely get on Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets is like the Facebook for real estate investors. So like you want to just spend like 2 hours tonight just messing around, learning, like go to the Chicago local. You'll find hundreds of thousands of people who invest in Chicago, who are local, who do mortgages, who don't do mortgages. Every property I've bought started with Bigger Pockets from the cannabis industry on. Like when I played for the Cardinals, I put a post in the Phoenix, like the Tempe new member introduction forums, like, hey, I'm Hakeem, would love to meet other investors in this area, blah, 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 blah. Took all those people out to coffee. Did the same thing in Detroit, did the same thing in New York when I played for the Lions, did the same thing in St. Louis when I moved out here, and kind of just use that to take a whole bunch of people out to coffee and meet them and kick it with them. But with that, like, you can do whatever you want. Like if I'm you though, I'd start a podcast, because if you interview a whole bunch of real estate investors, now you're going to build your Rolodex out of people that you're now going to service loans to, and you can get creative with. And now you'll know the investment strategy they use. You'll learn more by your podcast than anything you'll learn in getting certified as a loan specialist. But with that, the clients that you'll get on the back end, because you get to just like, if it's me, for example, and not to go on a rant here on your show, Brant, but if it's me, I'm starting a podcast and I'd start with Bigger Pockets, and I'd start with LinkedIn. Just type in Chicago real estate, and you'll see a ridiculous amount of people. The thing about when you ask someone to come on a podcast versus when you ask someone to pick their brain, it's a different conversation. When I say, hey, I'm new, upcoming in the mortgage space, would love to pick your brain over some coffee, 1 out of 50, depending on the time of day they have and how they're feeling. Plus, like the act of getting your brain picked is not a great thing in that standpoint. So just word of advice for anyone out there, never use that phrase, because I know people who just hate that phrase. But when you flip the script to those same people and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. real estate investor, whatever, love your story, would love to have you come on my show called Kicking It With, you know what I mean? Like whatever you want to call it on the real estate space. And now the questions that you ask are the questions that you're genuinely curious about, that you probably would have asked anyway on that coffee meetup. But now the content that you get to create, back to your documenting your process, you don't have to have imposter syndrome of putting out, like the feeling of imposter syndrome of putting out content and things that you feel like you might not be an expert on yet. You own the IP of your show. So the things that people say, like the things that I've said on this show, like Brent and X can use this for their content. And that's how you bring value in the meantime. But forget about the audience. Like the audience is cool because you'll build the dope brand in the mortgage space, because not many mortgage people do this. But the Rolodex that you will create, the one-to-one to one-to-one to one-to-one to one-to-one to one meetings that you have with people because you had them on the podcast, Then it's about how warm you decide to keep that network. So if it's me, every 10 episodes, if you're feeling, you want to keep distant because of COVID, I'm shipping a bottle of wine out to those guests, and I'm having a virtual happy hour. Or I'm going to one of my favorite restaurants in Chicago, getting a private dining room and bringing those 10 investors that you just had on your show in, like, investing that money like into your own brand, into your own future business, of now bringing those people out to dinner and just having a networking event. Everyone gets 2 minutes, talk about what you do, what you're looking for, and how you can help. And everyone just goes around the room and you just sit there. But by doing that and bringing everybody together, your brand is going to elevate. You just have to simply become the master of your network. And like, the more episodes you have, the more people that you'll be able to do business with on the back end. And like, that's practical. Like, anyone could do that tomorrow, because the thing about a show is everyone has a story and no one's listening. And when you provide a platform for someone to tell their story on, those people tend to love you forever. And then when it's time for you to throw the right hook, all right, listen up. I got my mortgage license now, so what's up with the what's up? And like, on top of that, it's introducing the person from episode 1 to episode 4, from episode 2 to episode 13, from episode, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get to episode 500, that's a conference. That's your own conference if you want it to be. You know what I mean? But
that's awesome.
No,
I've never thought about it that way. Thank you so much.
Think of, like, forget about the audience. Like, you don't have to be Joe Rogan or Gary Vee. Like, literally forget about that. If you can interview 500 people, you can have a conference. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow.
That's how I would go about it if it was me. And Bigger Pockets is where you can find a bunch of people, and LinkedIn is just obviously another great place. But Bigger Pockets is dope.
It's gonna get you bigger pockets,
so
huh?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like that.
But word, yeah.
That is knowledge,
right?
right?
Hit me up off the both of you guys hit me up offline so we can talk. Check. I want to definitely help you out with the InShot, but take that route on the podcast, because you will crush that. Because no one does it. Everyone is, they're it's the same content. Just service this loan to this family here and X, Y, and Z. Like, it's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much wisdom. Angela said Hakeem knows everything. I'd agree, and he breaks it down so real. Any advice for a high school teacher?
I do have advice for a high school teacher. If you're a high school
listen
teacher,
up. Here we go.
If you're a high school teacher and you're not profiting off of virtual learning right now, I don't know what you're doing. Like, right now, if you're good at math, like, you should spend 15 hours the next 2 weeks and learn how to run Facebook ads against the highest paying zip codes across the country, because a lot of these people don't want to spend time with their kids right now. They are sick of them. And if they're bad at math, and if you're good at math and you can virtually tutor someone for $25 an hour, for $50 an hour, they will pay for it. And let me just give you some math here for a high school teacher. If you have 15 clients paying $50 an hour for 3 times a week, whether it's math, whether it's science, whether it's art, which is a manageable price, especially if you're running ads against the highest paying zip codes, 15 clients, 3 times a week, $50 an hour, that's $109,000 a year. That's what I would do as a high school teacher. Hope that brought some value to some high school teachers out there, because that's, if I have any type of expert, if I knew how to draw, I promise you I'd be doing drawing classes to kids right now, because it's a way for, like, just parents are trying to figure out things to do with their kids. And if they want them to get better at art, you need to show up in front of those people.
So, wow. Serving up knowledge. That is so true, though. If you can, especially right now, like you said, you did a video and you said, who needs virtual lessons? Drop a football or something in your comments, and you had like 2,000 people wanting virtual lessons from this guy.
It's yeah, but spend 15 hours doing learning Facebook ads. You'd be surprised. Most people think you need a bunch of money to run Facebook ads. You can run ads for as little as $5 a day, just so you can know what works and what doesn't work, and then you dump gasoline on the fire and really crush it.
So much knowledge, man. I feel like we're stealing your time, so we'll let you move on. We really do appreciate it, though, man. This was awesome. Kicking off season 2. We were waiting months for this one. I was like, you got to get this guy. You got to connect with this guy. This guy will help you, and you can help each other and coming together. I love it.
Seriously, man, it's a blessing. So I really do appreciate it.
No doubt. I'm glad we made it happen. I appreciate you guys for having me.
For sure. Thanks, Hakeem. I see Jake Anderson says you should add a donate button on there somewhere.
Can we?
I
How
got
does
a
that
huge
happen?
fundraiser I'm working on for the Special Olympics. So if you want to donate to something, hit me up. Special Olympics, huge part for me. I have a huge heart for Special Olympics, and we're doing a massive fundraiser. So shooting free throws, not me, but I'm having a team shooting free throws for 24 straight hours. Debbie Antonelli in South Carolina, she is shooting 24 straight hours of free throws. 24 hours straight.
She's working on her craft, man. She's gonna get.
She shot 94%. 94% on 2,400 makes, Pont.
94%.
This lady doesn't miss.
That's
94%. Last year she shot outside. She shot outside last year and made 89%.
That is elite. That is
She
elite
is
level
an
shooting.
elite free throw shooter. No
Love
question. Well, awesome. Well, you guys take care. Anything you want to add real quick? Parting shots. We got your Twitter on there. I'm following. If you don't follow the man. Get his real estate course, Real Estate House Hacking 101.
Yeah, I'm excited to drop that. We're gonna turn up.
We'll be
Great
big.
turn up, baby.
Turn up.
Yes, sir.
I used to say turn down. Turn down for what? Or turn up? Or turn? That's a discussion I've had with my wife lately. Is I said something like, let's get turned up. And she's like, isn't it turned down? Pont, do you weigh in on this?
Okay, wait, what? Turned down.
Turned down.
I'm turned up. If I had to be one of the two, I'd be turned up.
Yeah.
TURN''T. Turn.
Turn.
With that, if you're gonna walk
on.
That's how we end it. That's a wrap. I'm gonna try to do in broadcast. So if you're watching on Facebook, thanks for watching. We are out.